Admiral Tejo stood at the window of his private office on the Earth Defense Station. The stars looked peaceful tonight. They always did. But Tejo knew better than anyone that peace was just a word the Galactic Council used when they wanted something from humanity. 50 years had passed since first contact. 50 years of fighting wars that were not their own. 50 years of sending young men and women to die on planets they could not pronounce, against enemies they had never met before. The Council called it partnership. They called it protection. They said Earth was too young, too weak, too primitive to survive alone in a galaxy full of dangers. And humanity believed them. Why would they not? The Council had ships that could cross star systems in hours. They had weapons that could break moons. They had knowledge that made human science look like children playing with toys. So when the Council asked for soldiers, Earth gave them soldiers. When they asked for resources, Earth gave them resources. When they asked for loyalty, Earth gave them everything. Tejo turned away from the window. His desk was covered with reports, all of them telling the same story. Human casualties were rising. The war against the Vex Empire was not going well. More troops were needed. More ships. More sacrifices. He was tired. Not just physically tired, but tired in his soul. He had sent too many soldiers to their deaths. He had written too many letters to families who would never see their children again. A soft knock on his door broke his thoughts. "Come in," he said. The door opened and Lieutenant Hana stepped inside. She was young, maybe 30 years old, with sharp eyes and a serious face. Tejo had promoted her to his personal staff 3 months ago. She was smart, careful, and most importantly, she asked questions that others were afraid to ask. "Admiral, I found something," Hana said. Her voice was quiet, but there was something in it that made Tejo pay attention. Fear, maybe, or anger. He could not tell which. "What is it?" Hana walked to his desk and placed a small data chip on it. "I was doing routine checks on the communication channels between Earth Command and the Council. Standard procedure, but I found something hidden in the old archives. Files that were encrypted. Files that should not exist." Tejo picked up the chip. It was small, light, ordinary. But the way Hana was looking at it told him it was anything but ordinary. "What is in these files?" "The truth, sir. About everything." Tejo inserted the chip into his computer. The screen filled with documents. Hundreds of them. All marked with Council classification codes. He began to read. The first document was dated 50 years ago, right after first contact. It was a report from the Council's inner chamber. A group so secret that most of the galaxy did not know it existed. The report was simple and direct. Species 7742. Designation: human. Origin: Sol system, planet Earth. Assessment: physically strong, mentally adaptable, emotionally volatile. Recommendation: use as military assets. Expected lifespan of usefulness: 100 to 150 years. After usefulness ends, standard termination protocol applies. Tejo read the words again and again. His hands began to shake. "Standard termination protocol," he whispered. "They are going to kill us." "Keep reading, sir," Hana said. The next document was a strategic plan. It explained everything in cold, clear language. Humanity was never meant to be a partner. They were meant to be a tool. The Council had found Earth at the perfect time, advanced enough to be useful, but not advanced enough to be a threat. The plan was simple. Use human soldiers to fight the Council's wars. Let them die in battles that protected Council interests. Drain Earth's resources. Keep humans busy, tired, grateful, and when the wars were over, when humanity had served its purpose, destroy them. "They never intended to protect us," Tejo said. "They intended to use us until we were empty, and then throw us away." "There is more," Hana said. The next files contained details about Earth's so-called protection fleet. The Council had stationed ships around Earth, claiming they were there to defend humanity from external threats. But the documents showed the truth. Those ships were not there to protect Earth. They were there to watch it, to control it. And when the time came, to destroy it. The fleet has enough firepower to crack our planet in half, Hana said. They have had that power since the beginning. We just never knew. Teho sat down heavily in his chair. His mind was racing, trying to process what he had just learned. Everything he had believed, everything he had fought for, everything he had sacrificed, it was all built on lies. Who else knows about this? He asked. No one. I came straight to you. Good. Keep it that way. Teho looked at the documents again. His shock was slowly turning into something else. Something harder. Something colder. Anger. They thought we were stupid, he said. They thought we would never find out. They thought we would just keep fighting and dying until there was nothing left of us. What do we do now, sir? Teho stood up. He walked back to the window and looked at the stars again. Somewhere out there, the council was sitting in their comfortable chambers, making plans for humanity's destruction. They had no idea that their secret was out. They had no idea that the tool they had created was about to turn against them. We do what humans have always done when someone tries to destroy us, Teho said. We fight back. But how? They have more ships, more weapons, more everything. Teho smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a man who had nothing left to lose. Let me tell you something about humans, Lieutenant. We have always been underestimated. Every enemy we have ever faced thought they were stronger than us, smarter than us, better than us, and every single one of them was wrong. He turned to face Hana. The council thinks they know everything about us. They think their files and reports tell them who we are. But they missed something important. They missed the one thing that makes humans dangerous. What is that, sir? Hope. Even when everything looks impossible, humans never stop hoping. And when hope mixes with anger, we become unstoppable. Teho picked up the data chip and held it in his hand. This chip contains their death sentence. They just do not know it yet. We are going to take this information to Earth Command. We are going to share it with every military leader, every scientist, every citizen. And then we are going to show the Galactic Council what happens when you lie to humanity. Hana nodded. Her fear was gone now, replaced by the same cold determination that burned in Teho's eyes. When do we start, Admiral? Teho looked at the stars one last time. We already have. Commander Yuna had not slept in 3 days. The intelligence room on Earth Command was dark, except for the blue glow of dozens of screens. Every screen showed something different: communications, troop movements, supply chains, enemy positions. But Yuna was not looking at any of them. She was staring at a single file on her personal tablet. The file Admiral Teho had sent her changed everything. She read it again, hoping that somehow the words would be different this time. They were not. The Council's plan was clear. Humanity was scheduled for destruction. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. Once the war with the Vex Empire was finished, once humans had served their purpose, the Council would simply erase them from existence. Commander? Yuna looked up. Captain Dae Sung stood in the doorway, his face tired but alert. He was one of her best officers, a man who had fought in 12 campaigns and never lost his calm. What is it? Yuna asked. Admiral Teho is here. He says it is urgent. Send him in. Teho walked into the room. He looked older than when Yuna had last seen him. The weight of what he had discovered was visible in every line on his face. You read the files, he said. It was not a question. I read them, and Yuna set down her tablet. I always knew something was wrong. The casualty rates were too high. The wars never seemed to end. Every time we won a battle, there was another one waiting. But I never imagined it was this bad. Neither did I. Teho sat down across from her. I spent my whole career believing in the Council. I thought we were building something. A future for humanity among the stars. Now I realize we were just digging our own grave. What do we do now? That is why I am here. We need to go deeper. The files Lieutenant Hana found are just the beginning. If the Council has been lying about this, they have been lying about other things too. We need to find out what else they are hiding. Yuna nodded. She turned to one of the screens and pulled up a map of Earth's communication network. I have a team that specializes in encrypted communications. If there are more secrets, they will find them. Good. But be careful. The Council has eyes everywhere. If they find out what we are doing, they will act fast. I know. Over the next 2 days, Yuna's team worked without rest. They traced communication lines, broke encryption codes, and dug through mountains of data. What they found was worse than anyone expected. The Council's plan was not just to destroy Earth. It was to destroy everything human. Every colony, every station, every ship. They had already prepared the weapons. They had already chosen the date. 3 years from now, on the anniversary of first contact, humanity would cease to exist. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was why. Yuna called an emergency meeting with Taeho and the other senior commanders. They gathered in a secure room deep beneath Earth Command, a place so secret that only a handful of people knew it existed. The Council is afraid of us, Yuna said. She projected the data onto the main screen for everyone to see. These files contain their analysis of human potential. They have been studying us since first contact. Every war, every battle, every conflict, they were not just using us. They were testing us. Testing us for what? Admiral Boram asked. He was the oldest commander in the room, a man who had seen more war than anyone alive, to see how dangerous we could become. Yuna changed the display to show a series of graphs and projections. According to their calculations, humanity is evolving faster than any species they have ever encountered. Our technology improves at twice the rate of Council species. Our population adapts to new environments in half the time. And our military capabilities. She paused, letting the numbers speak for themselves. In 50 years, we have gone from primitive spacecraft to fighting on equal terms with species that have existed for thousands of years. The Council's models predict that in another 100 years, humanity will be more powerful than the entire Council combined. The room was silent. They are not killing us because we failed, Taeho said slowly. They are killing us because we succeeded too well. Exactly. We were supposed to be disposable soldiers. Instead, we became a threat. The Council realized their mistake. But by then it was too late to stop using us, so they decided to let us keep fighting, keep dying, keep weakening ourselves. And when we were at our weakest, they would finish the job. Commander Gildong, the youngest officer in the room, slammed his fist on the table. We cannot let this happen. We have to fight back. With what? Boram asked. The Council has thousands of ships. They have weapons we cannot even understand. How do we fight against that? There might be a way, Yuna said. Everyone turned to look at her. What do you mean? Taeho asked. Yuna took a deep breath. This was the part she had been dreading. The part that would change everything. When I was digging through the classified files, I found something else. Something that was not from the Council. It was from us. From Earth. She pulled up another set of documents. These were different from the Council files. They were written in human languages, with human dates and human names. 20 years ago, Earth's best scientists started a secret project. They called it Project Dawn. The Council did not know about it. No one knew about it except a small group of people who reported directly to Earth's highest leadership. What kind of project? Taeho asked. A weapon. A new kind of weapon that the Council has never seen. Something that could change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. The room was completely silent now. Everyone was holding their breath. It is called quantum strike technology, Yuna continued. I do not understand all the science. But the basic idea is simple. It allows us to attack any target, anywhere in the galaxy, instantly. No warning, no defense, no escape. That is impossible, Boram said. Nothing can move faster than light. It does not move at all. That is the point. The weapon does not send anything through space. It manipulates space itself. The target is destroyed before they even know they are under attack. Taeho leaned forward. Are you saying we have had this technology for 20 years? We have had it for 10. It took the first decade to develop, the second decade to build. Right now, hidden in locations across Earth and our colonies, there are enough quantum strike devices to disable every Council ship in the galaxy. Why did we not use it before? Because we did not know we needed to. The project was created as insurance, just in case the Council ever turned against us. But we never had proof that they would. Until now. Yuna looked around the room at the faces of her fellow commanders. She saw shock, anger, fear, and something else. Something that looked like hope. The Council thinks they have us trapped, she said. They think we are helpless. They have spent 50 years lying to us, manipulating us, planning our destruction. But they made one mistake. They underestimated us. They forgot that humans do not just survive. We adapt. We prepare. We fight. She stood up and faced Taeho directly. Admiral, we have the means to defend ourselves. We have the proof of the Council's betrayal. The only question now is what we do with it. Taeho stood up as well. His eyes were hard, but there was fire in them now. We do what we have to do, he said. We take this information to every human being alive. We let them know the truth. And then we show the Galactic Council that humanity is not going to disappear quietly into the night. He looked at each commander in turn. The Council wanted a war. They are about to get one. But it will not be the war they expected. It will be the war that ends their reign. Dr. Hyun had spent his entire life working in secret. For 30 years, he had lived in underground facilities, surrounded by equations and experiments that no one else could know about. His family thought he worked for a boring government office. His friends, the few he still had, thought he had become a hermit. Only a handful of people in the world knew the truth about what he did. Today, for the first time, that truth was about to come out. The meeting room was small and plain. No windows, no decorations, just gray walls and a single table. But the people sitting around that table represented the most important moment in human history. Admiral Taeho sat at one end, his face calm but his eyes sharp. Commander Yuna sat beside him, her tablet full of data and plans. And across from them sat Dr. Hyun and his colleague, Engineer Hana Young, the two people who had built the weapon that would save humanity. Thank you for coming, Taeho said. I know this is unusual. You have spent your careers in shadows, and now we are asking you to step into the light. Dr. Hyun nodded slowly. He was an old man now, his hair white, and his hands spotted with age. But his mind was still sharp, still burning with the same fire that had driven him to create the impossible. We always knew this day would come, he said. We built Project Dawn hoping we would never need it. But we also built it knowing that hope is not a strategy. Tell us about the weapon, Yuna said. I have read the files, but I need to understand it completely. If we are going to use it, we cannot make any mistakes. Dr. Hyun looked at Hana Young. She was younger than him by 20 years, a brilliant engineer who had turned his theories into reality. She nodded and began to speak. Quantum strike technology is based on a simple principle, she said. Space is not empty. It is full of energy, connections, relationships between every point and every other point. Traditional weapons use force. They push energy through space to hit a target. Our weapon is different. It does not push anything. It changes the relationship between 2 points in space. She drew a diagram on her tablet and projected it onto the wall. Imagine 2 points, A and B. Normally, if you want to affect point B from point A, you have to send something through the space between them. Light, energy, matter, it all takes time to travel. But with quantum manipulation, we can create a direct connection between A and B. No distance, no delay. What happens at A happens at B instantly. And you can use this to attack? Taeho asked. We can use it to do anything, Dr. Hyun said. But yes, for our purposes, we designed it as a weapon. We can target any point in space and create a catastrophic energy release at that exact location. The target is destroyed before they can react. before they can defend, before they even know they are under attack. What about range? What about power? There is no range limit. The technology works across any distance. As for power, we can adjust it from small bursts that disable electronics to massive releases that could destroy a moon. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. You are telling me, Yuna said slowly, that we have the ability to destroy any target in the galaxy, instantly, without warning, and without any way to stop it. Yes, and the Council does not know about this? Dr. Hyun smiled. It was a tired smile. The smile of a man who had carried a heavy secret for too long. The Council believes they understand human technology. They have analyzed our ships, our weapons, our computers. They think we are clever but limited. They have no idea that we have been working on something they cannot even imagine. How did you keep it secret? Taeho asked. The Council has spies everywhere, because we did not just hide the project. We made it invisible. Every scientist who worked on Project Dawn was officially assigned to something else. Every facility was built underground, shielded from all known detection methods. Every piece of research was fragmented, stored in pieces across 100 locations. No single person except me and Hana Young knew the complete picture, and the weapons themselves, already in place. We have 300 quantum strike devices distributed across Earth and our colonies. Each one is hidden inside ordinary structures, buildings, ships, stations. The Council could search for 1,000 years and never find them. Admiral Taeho leaned back in his chair. For the first time since he had discovered the Council's betrayal, he felt something other than anger and fear. He felt possibility. How quickly can we activate them? He asked. Within hours. The devices are already powered and connected. All we need is the command codes, which only I possess, and a target list. What about the Council's fleet around Earth? The one they claim is protecting us? How? Hana Young pulled up another display showing the positions of Council ships in the Sol system. There were 47 vessels, ranging from small patrol craft to massive battleships. Each one was marked with a red dot. We have already designated them as priority targets. On your command, Admiral, every single one of those ships can be disabled simultaneously. Not destroyed, we designed a low-power setting specifically for this purpose. Their weapons will go offline. Their engines will fail. Their communications will be cut. They will be helpless. Why not destroy them? Dr. Hyun answered this question. Because destruction is easy. Control is harder. If we destroy the fleet, we send a message of violence, but if we disable them without killing anyone, we send a different message. We show that we could have destroyed them, but we chose not to. That message is more powerful than any explosion. Yuna nodded. She understood the strategy. Humanity needed to show strength, but they also needed to show restraint. The galaxy was watching, even if it did not know it yet. How humanity handled this moment would define their future. What about the rest of the Council's forces? She asked. They have fleets spread across 12 systems. Thousands of ships. We can reach them all, Hana Young said. Distance means nothing to quantum strike technology. We can hit targets in the core worlds as easily as targets in our own solar system. But we will not hit them all at once, Dr. Hyun added. That would be genocide. Instead, we have created a graduated response plan. First, we disable the immediate threat, the fleet around Earth. Then we target the Council's command and control centers, cutting off their ability to coordinate. Finally, we disable their strategic weapons platforms, removing their ability to strike back. How long will all of this take? From the moment we activate to the moment the Council is neutralized? Approximately 3 seconds. The number hung in the air. 3 seconds. In 3 seconds, humanity could go from being victims to being victors. In 3 seconds, 50 years of lies and manipulation could be answered. Taeho stood up and walked to the display showing the Council fleet. He studied the ships that had been watching Earth, threatening Earth, preparing to destroy Earth. He thought about all the soldiers who had died in wars that were never meant to be won. He thought about the families who had lost children, parents, siblings to battles that only served the Council's interests. When I discovered the truth about the Council, he said quietly, I felt rage. I wanted to burn everything. I wanted to make them pay for every lie, every death, every betrayal. He turned to face the others, but that is not who we are. Humans are not destroyers. We are builders. We are dreamers. We are survivors. We did not come this far by giving in to our worst impulses. We came this far by believing in something better. He looked at Dr. Hyun. You built this weapon to protect us. Not to conquer. Not to dominate. To protect. And that is exactly how we will use it. We will show the Council that their lies have been discovered. We will show them that we have the power to destroy them. But we will also show them something they never expected from a primitive species like us. What is that? Yuna asked. Mercy. We will give them a chance to surrender. A chance to make things right. Because at the end of the day, we do not want war. We want peace. Real peace, built on truth and respect, not lies and fear. He straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. Prepare the weapons. Notify all Earth forces. In 12 hours, we show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. High Counselor Vethnar stood on the observation deck of the Grand Chamber, watching the stars rotate slowly beyond the crystal windows. He was ancient by any species standards. His scaled skin faded to pale gray, his 4 eyes clouded with age, but his mind remained sharp, and his power remained absolute. For 3,000 years, the Galactic Council had ruled this sector of space. Hundreds of species lived under their guidance, their protection, their control. Some thrived. Some struggled. Some disappeared. It was the natural order of things. The strong guided the weak, the wise controlled the foolish, and species that became inconvenient simply ceased to exist. Humanity was about to become one of those species. High Counselor. A junior administrator approached, bowing low. The reports from the Sol system are ready. And everything proceeds as planned. Human forces continue to weaken themselves in the Vex campaign. Their casualties are higher than projected. They should reach critical depletion within 18 months. Vethnar made a sound of satisfaction. Excellent. And our fleet around their homeworld? Fully operational. Ready to execute termination protocol on your command. Not yet. Let them bleed a little more. Let them spend their last strength fighting our enemies. Then we will end them. Number 4. 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 Not enemies in. Not yet. The administrator bowed again and retreated. Vethnar returned his gaze to the stars. Somewhere out there, billions of humans were living their short, violent lives, completely unaware that their time was almost over. It was almost sad. In a way, they had shown such promise, such potential. That was precisely why they had to be destroyed. On Earth, Admiral Tejo stood in the central command room of Earth Defense Headquarters. Around him, hundreds of officers worked at their stations, monitoring systems, checking coordinates, confirming targets. The room hummed with tension and purpose. All stations report ready, Commander Yuna announced. Quantum Strike Network is fully activated. 300 devices standing by. Council fleet status? Unchanged. 47 vessels in standard defensive positions. They have no idea anything is wrong. Unchanged. Tejo nodded. He had spent the last 12 hours preparing for this moment. Every contingency had been planned, every variable accounted for. But there was one thing he could not prepare for: the weight of what he was about to do. With a single order, he would change the galaxy forever. There would be no going back, no second chances. Whatever happened next, humanity would have to live with the consequences. Open a channel, he said. All frequencies. I want every human being to hear this. The communications officer worked quickly. Within seconds, Teho's voice was being broadcast to every ship, every station, every colony, every home where humans lived. This is Admiral Teho, Supreme Commander of Earth Defense Forces. In a few moments, you will witness something unprecedented. You will see the true power of humanity revealed. But first, you need to know why. He paused, gathering his thoughts. For 50 years, we believed the Galactic Council was our friend, our protector, our guide to the stars. We were wrong. The Council has been using us from the beginning. They sent us to fight their wars, die in their battles, spend our lives protecting their interests, and when we are no longer useful, they plan to destroy us, all of us, every man, woman, and child, every colony, every station, every ship, everything human. Across Earth and beyond, billions of people stopped what they were doing. They listened to their admiral's words with growing shock and anger. But we are not going to let that happen. We have discovered their plan. We have prepared our response. And now, we are going to show the Council that humanity is not a species to be used and thrown away. We are a species to be respected. He turned to Yuna. Initiate quantum strike. Primary targets only. Yuna's fingers moved across her console. Strike initiated. Nothing visible happened. There was no flash of light, no thundering sound, no dramatic display of power. The quantum strike was silent, invisible, and absolute. 3 seconds passed. Strike complete, Yuna reported. All 47 Council vessels disabled. Weapons offline. Engines offline. Communications offline. 0 casualties. In orbit around Earth, the Council fleet drifted helplessly. Their crews stumbled through darkened corridors, trying to understand what had happened. One moment, everything was normal. The next, every system on their ships had simply stopped working. But Earth's strike was not limited to the Sol system. Secondary targets confirmed, another officer reported. Council command centers across all 12 core systems have been disabled. Their military coordination network is completely dark. Tertiary targets? Strategic weapons platforms neutralized. They cannot launch a counterattack. In the Grand Chamber, half a galaxy away, High Counselor Vethnar staggered as the lights flickered and died. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. Alarms screamed. Administrators ran in all directions, shouting reports that made no sense. What is happening? Vethnar demanded. We do not know, High Counselor. Our communications are down. Our sensors are blind. Reports are coming in from across the sector. Every military installation has gone dark. That is impossible. Nothing can strike that many targets simultaneously. High Counselor. Another administrator rushed in, his face pale with terror. A message is coming through. It is from Earth. Earth? How? We control their communications. They are not using our systems. They are using something else. Something we have never seen before. A screen flickered to life on the wall. Admiral Teho's face appeared, calm and steady. High Counselor Vethnar, Teho said. My name is Admiral Teho of Earth. We have never met, but you know who I am. I am one of the humans you plan to exterminate. Teho. Teho. Vethnar's 4 eyes widened. This is an act of war. No, this is an act of defense. We discovered your termination protocol. We know what you plan to do to our species, and we decided not to let it happen. You cannot possibly hope to win against the Council. We have thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, resources beyond your comprehension, and yet here we are. Your fleet around Earth is disabled. Your command centers are blind. Your weapons platforms are silent. In 3 seconds, we accomplished what you thought impossible. Imagine what we could do if we were actually trying to destroy you. Vethnar was silent. For the first time in his long life, he had no response. We did not destroy your ships, Teho continued. We did not kill your soldiers. We could have. Our weapons are capable of erasing every council installation in the galaxy. But that is not what we want. What do you want? The same thing we have always wanted. Peace. Real peace. Built on honesty and mutual respect. Not the false peace you offered us, where we served as your slaves while you planned our extinction. Across the galaxy, other council leaders were watching the same broadcast. They saw their military power neutralized. They saw humanity standing strong. And they began to understand that everything had changed. You have a choice, High Counselor, Tejo said. You can try to rebuild your forces and attack us. We will respond, and next time, we will not be so gentle. Or you can accept that your plan has failed and begin negotiating a new relationship with humanity. A real relationship, based on equality and truth. This is unprecedented, Vethnar whispered. No species has ever challenged the Council like this. Perhaps that is the problem. Perhaps you have been unchallenged for so long that you forgot what happens when you push someone too far. Humans have a saying, never corner a wounded animal. You tried to corner us, Counselor. You tried to wound us, but you forgot that wounded animals fight the hardest. Tejo leaned forward. We do not want revenge. We do not want conquest. We want what every species wants, the chance to live, to grow, to find our place among the stars. Give us that chance, and you will find no better allies in the galaxy. Deny us, and you will find no worse enemies. He straightened. You have 24 hours to respond. Choose wisely. The screen went dark. In the command room on Earth, Tejo let out a long breath. His officers stared at him with a mixture of awe and uncertainty. Sir, Yuna said quietly, do you think they will accept? Tejo looked at the displays, showing disabled council ships drifting in orbit, helpless but unharmed. He thought about the message he had just sent, not just to the Council, but to every species in the galaxy. He thought about what humanity had just accomplished, and what they could still accomplish if given the chance. I do not know, he admitted. But I know this much. Whatever happens next, the galaxy will never look at humanity the same way again. We are no longer the primitive species that needed protection. We are equals. And that changes everything. The Grand Chamber had never seen anything like this. For 3,000 years, it had been the seat of council power, a place where the most powerful beings in the galaxy made decisions that shaped the fate of countless worlds. Representatives came here to bow, to plead, to accept the wisdom of their superiors. But today, humans stood here as equals. Commander Yuna walked into the chamber with a calm confidence that made the assembled council members uncomfortable. Behind her came a small delegation of Earth's finest Admiral Tejo, Dr. Hyun, Engineer Hana Young, and a dozen military and civilian leaders. They wore simple uniforms, carried no weapons, and showed no fear. High Counselor Vethnar sat on his elevated throne, surrounded by the other council leaders. His ancient eyes watched the humans approach with a mixture of resentment and grudging respect. 24 hours ago, he had believed humanity was nothing more than a useful tool. Now, he was about to negotiate with them as equals. You have come to discuss terms, Vethnar said. It was not a question. We have come to establish a new relationship, Yuna replied. One based on truth rather than lies. You speak of truth, yet you deceived us as well. You hid your weapons, your capabilities, your true power. We hid them because you gave us no choice. You never treated us as partners. You treated us as assets to be used and discarded. We simply did what any species would do. We prepared to defend ourselves. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The other council members watched this exchange with fascination. Many of them had never seen anyone speak to the High Counselor this way. What do you want? Vethnar asked. Yuna stepped forward. First, we want acknowledgement. Humanity has proven itself capable of defending against any threat in the galaxy. We expect to be treated accordingly, not as junior partners, not as protected species, but as equals in every sense. Acknowledged. Second, we want justice. For 50 years, human soldiers have died in council wars. Our resources have been drained. Our development has been delayed. Our people have suffered. We want compensation. Not in wealth or territory, but in knowledge. We want access to all Council scientific databases, all historical records, all technological developments. No more secrets. Vethnar's scales shifted in discomfort. That is a significant request. It is a modest request, considering you plan to kill every human being alive. The chamber fell silent. No one could argue with that logic. Third, Yuna continued. We want representation. Humanity will have a permanent seat on the Council, with full voting rights. Our voice will be heard in every decision that affects the galaxy. That violates 3,000 years of tradition. Then it is time for new traditions. The old ways led you to plan genocide against a species that had done nothing but serve you loyally. Perhaps new ways will lead to better outcomes. Admiral Teho stepped forward to stand beside Yuna. Let me be clear, High Counselor. We are not here to destroy the Council. We are not here to replace you as rulers of the galaxy. We are here to make things better for everyone, including you. Better how? The Council has maintained peace through fear and control. That worked for a long time, but it was never sustainable. Eventually, species grow strong enough to resist. We are proof of that. But we are also proof that there is another way. He gestured to the humans standing behind him. Look at us. We could have destroyed your fleet. We could have killed your leaders. We could have taken revenge for every lie and every death. But we chose not to. Do you know why? Vethnar remained silent. Because destruction is easy. Building something better is hard. Humanity has always chosen the hard path. We believe that real strength comes not from crushing your enemies, but from turning them into friends. Dr. Hyun stepped forward. Despite his age, his voice was strong and clear. I spent 30 years building a weapon that could end civilizations. Every day, I asked myself if I was doing the right thing. Creating something so powerful felt wrong, but I knew that power was the only language the Council understood. Without it, you would never have listened to us. He looked around the chamber at the assembled alien faces. Now you are listening. And I want you to understand something important. We do not want to use this weapon ever again. We want to live in peace with you, to share knowledge, to explore the universe together. The power we have shown is not a threat, it is a guarantee. A guarantee that you will never again be able to treat any species the way you treated us. Hana Young added, our technology can disable your weapons, but it can also do so much more. We can share it with the galaxy. We can use it to improve lives, to heal worlds, to solve problems that have plagued species for millennia. All we ask is the chance to do so. The chamber remained quiet for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, one of the junior council members spoke up. She was a female of a species called the Telori, known for their wisdom and fairness. High Counselor, she said, I move that we accept the human terms. Vethnar turned to her sharply. You speak out of turn. I speak with the authority of my people. We have watched this day unfold with great interest. The humans have demonstrated something we rarely see in this chamber: restraint. They had every reason to destroy us, and they chose mercy instead. That is not the act of a primitive species. That is the act of a wise one. Other voices began to join hers. Council members from a dozen species spoke in support of the humans. The tide was turning. Vethnar sat in silence as the debate continued around him. His plans had failed. His power had been challenged. Everything he had believed about the natural order of the galaxy was being questioned, but he was old, and he had survived by knowing when to fight and when to yield. Enough, he said finally. The chamber fell silent. The Council accepts the human terms. A wave of relief passed through the Earth delegation, though their faces remained composed. However, Vethnar continued, I wish to understand something. You had the power to destroy us completely. You chose not to. Why? What do you truly want? Commander Yuna smiled. It was a warm smile, without anger or triumph. We want what every species wants, High Counselor. A future. A chance to grow. To learn. To explore. We want our children to look up at the stars and see possibilities, not threats. We want to be part of something larger than ourselves. She stepped closer to the throne. But we also want something that might surprise you. We want you to succeed. Not as rulers who control through fear, but as leaders who guide through wisdom. The galaxy needs the council. It needs structure, cooperation, shared purpose. We just need that structure to be built on honesty instead of manipulation. Vethnar studied her face for a long moment. He had lived for 3,000 years, had seen species rise and fall, had made decisions that shaped the fate of worlds. But in all that time, he had never met a species quite like humanity. You are strange creatures, he said finally. Violent and peaceful. Weak and strong. Simple and complex. I do not fully understand you. That is because we do not fully understand ourselves, Yuna replied. We are still learning who we are. But we know who we want to be. And we know that we cannot become that alone. Right. She extended her hand in the human gesture of agreement. Join us, High Counselor. Not as our ruler, but as our partner. Help us build something new. Something better. Something that will last not because species fear it, but because they believe in it. Vethnar looked at the extended hand. For a moment, he seemed uncertain, this ancient being who had commanded empires and ended civilizations. Then, slowly, he reached out and grasped her hand with his own. Very well, he said. Let us build something new. Throughout the galaxy, billions of beings watched the broadcast of this moment. They saw the council bow to no one, but extend respect to everyone. They saw humanity standing tall among the stars, not as conquerors, but as equals, and they understood that the galaxy would never be the same again. Admiral Tejo stepped forward to join Yuna and the High Counselor. This is not an ending, he said, speaking to everyone watching. This is a beginning. Today, we started down a new path. It will not be easy. There will be challenges, disagreements, and difficult moments ahead. But for the first time in 50 years, humanity faces the future with hope instead of fear. He looked at the stars visible through the chamber's great windows. The council lied to us. They tried to destroy us. But in the end, they gave us something they never intended. They gave us the chance to prove who we really are. And now the entire galaxy knows the truth. He turned back to face the chamber. Humanity is here to stay, not as servants, not as soldiers, not as tools to be used and discarded, but as partners in building a better future for everyone. And across the stars, humanity smiled. Because for the first time, they truly belonged among the lights in the sky.